All right, Leetcode 796, rotate string. Let's get started. Given two strings, s and goal, return true if and only if s can become goal after some number of shifts on s. Okay. A shift on s consists of moving the leftmost character to the rightmost position. Okay. S equals A, B, C, D, E, and then B, C. Oh, okay, so just move the first character to the end of the string. Okay. Okay. So you see that. So this is true. And it's because we did two shifts. So moving the A to the end and the B to the end. Okay. This one is false because it starts A, B, C, D, A, B, C, E, D, as opposed to A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Okay. And we've got some constraints here. It's always between those lengths. And we're only dealing with lowercase English letters. Okay. Cool. So our input here is just two strings, s and goal. And our output is just a Boolean value. Okay. And they say that the length is always greater than or equal to 1. So it's never an empty string. I think that combined with this constraint can pretty much assure us that there are going to be no spaces or anything. So edge cases like this are not possible. Like say if these were our two values. So like say it was like S is that and goal is that. This is not a valid test case because it's only English letters that are lowercase. And there's always length greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 100. Okay. Great. So let's think about this. As far as like the requirements go, I think like a sort of implicit requirements is that the strings must be of equal length, because it wouldn't make sense for us to try to even look at the two strings if they're of different lengths, because they just couldn't possibly become the same after a certain amount of shifts. Okay, and so given that the two strings are of the same length, only then can we even begin to think about shifting or thinking about if it's possible to shift characters. So yeah, I think that makes sense. And I also think there's a maximum amount of shifts, right? So it would just be the length of the string, I think. Because if you can't make them equal to one another, so s and goal being this, having identical values as strings, then it's never going to be able to be shifted into the right order. So I'm trying to think of an efficient way to do this. I mean, obviously we could just like pop and push. Or I'm sorry, yeah, pop and then unshift elements. I think there's probably a better approach. So I think for this one here, I think I would want to just slice from, I think I would just try to find the first index. Oh, are there going to be, that's a good question. Are there going to be duplicates? it seems like there could definitely be duplicates. So that kind of makes it so we can't maybe take the approach we were thinking of. So what I thought I might do is, like, say we had these two input values. Let's say I was like thinking, okay, I just want to find where A is in goal, right? So I would think, okay, I'll just get the index of that value and then just slice from that index. So the index where A is found in this string, and then append, or I guess prepend this substring to the beginning of this string. And so then it would just look like this, right? And then we would just compare to see if these are the same string. And if they are, then we would just return true. Otherwise, we would return false. The problem with that approach, though, is say we have like A, B, C, D, E, A. So it would be like there. I don't think finding the index for like some arbitrary value and then finding where that exists in this string actually works. Okay, so can become goal after some number of shifts on S. Okay, consistent moving the leftmost character of S to the rightmost position. Okay, so I think they actually want us to do it the inefficient way. I think that's the only way that really makes sense, given that at least in terms of this approach, this isn't going to work in the case of duplicates, or at least it would involve more steps. I guess what I was trying to avoid was the, I guess, time complexity of grabbing the last element or I guess grabbing the first element and then pushing it to the end of the string. But I think that might be unavoidable. Well, actually, no. I think I think I can avoid doing too much. Okay, so if we were to summarize this problem, basically we want to check to see. So we want to check to see if it's possible to shift to create or to, I guess, transform string S into string goal by shifting the first character, I guess the leftmost character, to the end of the string. And this can be like multiple times, obviously, times up to the length of the two strings, or of the string S. Okay. So as far as like an approach here, I think this is sort of kind of a requirement to, or it's sort of like a rule that I've gleaned from the problem. Okay, so if we were to think about the steps for this problem, what would they be? Well, I think the first step, we want to check if both strings have the same length. If the strings have the same length. If they don't, then we just would want to return early, immediately returning false. Okay, and then the next step is that we want to essentially traverse string S. Okay. And for each character, we basically want the first character in a variable. And maybe I think we'll just essentially just like take the take the string and compare it. So I think that, yeah, so for each character, well, I think we compare, yeah, I think we compare. Okay, so let's compare first. So compare S, and maybe we'll call it transformed S. Oh no, we'll just leave it at S for now. Compare S and goal. If they are the same, just return true. True. Otherwise, we want to essentially get the first character in a variable, and reassign S to S from index 1 up to the end, and then concatenating first character. So then we do that, we transform our string, and then we iterate, and we're actually not even really traversing. Like we are, but it's more like we're just kind of cycling through the characters. So I think instead of saying traverse, I think I'm just going to express the looping like condition, right? So while the I think we're going to take the length as well. So declare cycles, because we don't want to cycle through the string more than once. So if we like essentially make all these changes to the string by modifying it, so by taking the first element, removing it from the beginning, and then adding it at the end, we don't want to do that. Like we don't want to continuously go through the string. So like once we've cycled through all the possible versions of that string shifted, then we just want to stop, right? So we'll just declare a variable cycles and initialize it to the length of string s. Okay, so then while cycles is not equal to 0, or I guess while it's greater than 0, we want to do something. And what we want to do is those comparison operations and the shifting operation. And I think I'm going to, well, that might work just fine. I just want to have a single return statement for this problem. So I think we're going to reassign some variable. Let's say it's result to true. Okay. And I'm going to declare a variable up here, declare result, and initialize it to false. Okay. So we're going to be comparing them. If they're the same, we want to reassign result to true and break out of while loop. Otherwise, we want to get the first character in a variable and then reassign s to s from index 1. So if we're looking at this example, we're getting this in a variable, and then we are reassigning s to this string with this character appended at the end. So that would look like B, C, D, E, A. And yeah, that's what that's going to look like. So that's our while loop, and then really we just want to return the value of result. Okay, so I think I can get into the implementation here. Let's just create some room, some space. I'm just going to translate my pseudocode to JavaScript. Okay, cool. So the first things first, we just want to check if the strings have the same length. So if s length is not equal to goal length, we can immediately return false. Okay. So that's the case where like it's A, B, C, D, E, and then like A, B, C. That would be an example where we would want to return early. Okay. The next step was to declare cycles and declare res. That's what we'll do. And we can actually do that up here. Okay, so yeah, I just replace that with a variable because I know it's going to be repeating myself a lot. And then we can declare res as well. So let res false. Okay. And then the next step was to create this while loop. So the condition is while cycles is greater than 0. And I just forgot that we need to increment cycles. Decrement cycles, rather. Or else we'd have an infinite loop, assuming that cycles is non-zero. Okay, so now we need to compare S and goal. I want to reassign res to true. And we want to break out of our loop. Otherwise, we want to, so else, actually we don't need that. Otherwise, we just want to get that first character in a variable. So let first, and I'm going to actually move this out of the loop. Okay, so just initialize it there, and then we'll assign first to the first character in S, so S at index 0, and then this will be the tail. So we'll just declare that up here. Okay, and basically want to reassign S to that. Okay, yeah, so we just really it's we don't even need this additional variable. We can just reassign S to S slice from 1 to the end of the string, and then concatenating the first character. Okay, and really we don't even really need this variable. I was just using it for clarity. Okay, so we're doing that. And what's the next step? Here we go. Okay, we need to decrement cycles. So that's what we're going to do here. Cycles minus minus, just decrementing it by 1. Then we just want to return result. So if we were to walk through this initial example, let's just see how we do. So move this guy up here. Okay, so that's our goal, and this is S. And yeah, let's just walk through our algorithm. So cycles length is, or the string length is 5. Okay, and then result is false. They are of the same length, so we don't have to worry about that. So we declare first, and we start cycling. So at this point, cycles is 5. So are the two strings equivalent? They're not. So we then go to this step. So now first would be A, and S is now going to look like B, C, D, E, A. And then we're decrementing cycles. So now cycles is 4. So we move to the next. Actually, let's do that up here. Yeah. So now this is the current value associated with S. So we iterate, and once again, these two are not equivalent. So we're just evaluating this portion of the code. So first is now going to be B, and then this is now looking like that. So C, D, E, A, B. And then we decrement cycles. So now cycles is 3. And then we get to the next iteration. So we're up here, and S is actually equal to goal at this point. they're equivalent in value. So we actually want to reassign result to true and then break out of our loop. So that's what we do. We break out of our while loop, we reach line 62, and then we just return the current value of res, which, since it was reassigned, is now true. And so we should see true being returned from our function. Okay. Comment some of this stuff out and take a look and see if it's working as we think it should be. Okay. All right, and it is. Let's take a look and see how we did with the other test cases. All right. So we passed the problem. It's saying that we're slow, but this is very finicky. So yeah, this was fun. I feel like my PDAC was strong. I think there's probably, I think I could have done more when it comes to exploring the problem. That's something in retrospect I think I'm going to see when I watch this back. I'm wondering if I could have done it the other way. I think the other way would have been kind of like needlessly method heavy, and I'm trying to break away from that a little bit and just kind of see the problems in as simple terms as possible without using too many abstractions. So like choosing a while loop over some other more, built-in method. But yeah, this was fun. Looks like we made it in under 30 minutes. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going to be posting a lot of these over the next couple weeks through the holidays. And yeah, thanks for watching if you made it this far. All right. Peace.